So now that the cabinets and everything in here are finally complete, there's one big thing I am missing at the moment, and that is the workbench. Something to go in here. There's quite a bit of space. I got a good 4x8 spot to start building something. What do you know? My truck just happens to have all the necessary materials. So it's time to start welding a welding bench, and I'm gonna get to it. I tried taking the lazy approach, and of course it failed on me. Granted, these are just the tack welds, and they're not the finishing welds, but what I should really have done is I should have ground off all the, what is it, cosmoline, whatever this coating is. Keeps it from rusting. Should have done that. That's why you see all the splatters, all those pops I was getting. That's because it's just garbage. So, alright, I guess I can't be lazy. I guess I need to actually grind everything down. But at least that's a start. Hopefully that's strong enough to stay. And I'll get to the other side. Spark time. Alright, so this time I have employed the help of my lovely assistant, Barstool, to keep everything up. Well, I go ahead and tack in this side. So luckily right now everything seems to be lining up just fine. To get a better weld, I decided to move the ground further towards the welding action. That tends to make a difference, at least that's what I've been told. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw some tacks on this, and then continue over to the other side, but trust me, I will save the bar stool. It'll be moved over to this side. I would hate to damage my beautiful plaid covered bar stools. Definitely coming along. Fader out. Okay, so I wasn't entirely going to film this step because my GoPro batteries are going low and I am way too cheap to get another battery. This welding table alone is about $1,600. So I can wait on batteries. But in either case, I just wanted to show, so where I thought about using these magnets to hold everything up and to align everything, since this is going to hold the top, one of my biggest concerns is to have this as straight across as possible with the other piece. So it dawned on me, hey, let's grab a piece of scrap, put some clamps on there, and make sure this is nice and tight. Therefore, I should have a perfect contact surface all the way across once I get the sheet metal, once I get the 3/8 plate on there. Sorry, 3/16. 3/8 is overkill. A lot of this is overkill. So anyway, I'm gonna get that all tacked in place and see how it looks. Okay, so day 2 of the welding bench project. You can see I've got basically the whole frame tacked together. Now it's time for some supports for both the top and the bottom plates. Top plate's gonna be 3/16 of an inch, just like the inner diameter of these tubes. These are also 3/16. And then the bottom plate, since it's just going to hold tools and everything, that's just going to be 12 gauge, sheet of 12 gauge steel. So I have to grind all the cosmoline off. My marks here. I'm only going to do 3 of them. I believe that should be plenty enough.
Pull the tranny out, put a rear main in it. When the tranny's out, we're gonna stuff my other tranny back in it that's fixed, hopefully. And then I can pull a tranny out and get that fixed. Okay, get the tranny out of this thing and get a transmission swap. Okay, the tranny's out of this thing. Now we're trying to discover oil problems.
So unfortunately, in the move to this house, can't find my good welding gloves. So I'll just be welding with firm grip. But I do at least have good sleeves on, good apron, and despite what I may wind up calling this channel, I don't actually enjoy getting burnt. It just tends to happen a lot. So, we're good to go. That's the floor. That's the floor. This is perfectly square. The floor is not flat. Okay, so during the break, I went ahead and cut 3 more pieces of 36-inch tubing, and I also flipped this thing up on its end just to make it easier to get to and to weld. Those supports are going to go here, just like for the top plate. These will be needed for the bottom. And since I have it up, I might as well go ahead and do a bunch more of the finishing welds. Got everything nice and clean, so it should give me a pretty good surface to weld on. So with that said, guess I'm gonna get at it. Unfortunately, take 2. Unfortunately, that means I'm out of wire. So, time for a trip to the old Home Depot. All right, so just got back from the store with another spool of wire. So I'm gonna get back at it. Alright, so I'm now on day 3 of this Workbench welding table project. As you can see, I got the casters in from Amazon, Casters HQ, and these suckers are huge. Greasable, got grease zerks on all the bearings, nice surface break. So these ought to be pretty good. I'm pretty impressed with them already. So, smart thing to do would be to cut some type of plate, weld a plate in here, drill holes, bolt these in and everything. That'd be good. However, Home Depot doesn't sell 4-inch bar stock, and I'm kind of an impatient person. So I'm going to grind off whatever coating is on these. I'm just gonna weld them straight onto the table, straight onto the frame. They're actually welding. Did not expect that. So, cool. Well, I need to clean up the other 3, get them prepped and welded in, and while it's standing up, might as well go ahead and finish off some of the welds I didn't get to earlier. But, looking good. Stacking dimes like a bank. Success. He's nice. Alright, so who'd have thought a piece of 12 gauge 4 foot by a foot sheet would be so heavy, but it is. And I didn't calculate any of this out, so in either case, I have to cut this anyway in order to get it to fit on the bottom. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this sheet where I need to, 44 inches in, because the whole frame is only 88 inches rather than 96. So I got my line marked out using a drywall T-square. And of course a Milwaukee ink saw. And I guess I'll get at it. Alright, got the top plate sitting on the frame for the workbench. I'm going to go ahead and clean up some of the metal and then put in a few welds, install the vise, and cut the sheet metal for the lower portion, the bottom floor of this workbench. Should be fun. Let's get at it. So this is super typical of my work. Got the bottom sheet notched in order to fit around the leg. And wait, what? Oh, yeah, I notched the wrong side. So, finally got the table all welded together, including the bottom plate. Now it's time to install the vise. I went ahead and marked out location of where the frame should be, so I'm not trying to drill any holes through the frame. I'm gonna go ahead and get the vise aligned with that and start drilling. In order to do all this, in order to figure out exactly where these holes are and what I'm doing to drill into them, I'm going to wind up using one of my favorite tools. A punch set. So, I need to find the 1/2 inch, which would be this one right here. What this is it's just a 1/2 inch punch with the nub right in the very center. So what you do is once you get everything aligned, put this in right there, give it just a light tap, and that'll leave a mark on the table where I should be drilling. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that done. Should be right about where I want it. Go ahead and put this in. Just should be all I need. These are just location markers. And yes, I'm using grade 8 hardware just for a vise. Learned a valuable lesson about grade 5 versus grade 8. And so everything gets grade 8 now.
We're off on an adventure. These guys think they're freezing to death. Let's put no more of them
All right, so what do you do after spending a couple weekends putting together a very strong welding bench? You sit in front of it and watch YouTube. Anyway, this is the final product. Let me show it to you. Since I didn't give you any dimensions or really explain anything during pretty much the entirety of the video, I'm gonna go ahead and give you the dimensions and everything, how this was laid out, why I chose what I did. So I went through and made, these are my initial notes. Kind of had some requirements, exactly where I wanted this. I wanted the height anywhere between 36 to 38 inches. That hits me at a good level for my elbow and everything where I'll be working. Obviously it's gonna be a 4x8 sheet. Wheel height, I needed around 7 inches after frame and everything. So usually a 6 inch caster, which is what I did go with. I was originally thinking, 2 inch square, anywhere between 10 gauge to quarter wall. After looking at it for a little while, I figured quarter wall was a little too thick. And I just kind of went through everything. I initially wanted to do expanded steel on the bottom down here. And after I was quoted $400 for a sheet of expanded, I asked how much a sheet of 12 gauge was going to cost, and they said $200. So I took it. So no expanded down there. My rough ideas for the frame and everything, and this is what it came out to. I had to draw this after the fact to show what had been done. But you can see it came out to 37.5 inches total height, which gives me a frame of about 30 inches, 6 inch caster, and then the difference is made up within the frame for the caster itself. So bottom width is 88 inches by 40 inches, top 96 by 48. So it's a total of 4 inches in all the way around. So hopefully it gives me a nice clamping surface. So that's plenty without anything too heavy bending this down. So this is the final product. I did get the bottom sheet all welded in. I did some stitch welds in the center and around the back and on the sides. I did not, however, do the front. Hey Tara, because I do at some point in time, I've got an itch for a brand new welder. So when I do get the new welder, this will be playtime right there. And as you can see, I did not get any welding slag on my gorgeous bar stool. So pretty happy about that. And if we kind of back up to the whole garage so you can see what this thing looks like in place. I think it turned out pretty good. I didn't want to make it as long as the cabinets. I got some tools I want to put underneath there, namely the table saw and some other things. So I wanted to leave a little bit of extra room. Beer fridge is a little too big. That's got to go. I need a smaller one. Subwoofer will go somewhere else. But I didn't want it to go the full length. So that's 4 foot by 8 foot. So that's a lot of cabinets. I think this turned out just fine. I did have to stack some coupons underneath that caster. A little hard to see, but it's a little tippy if I didn't do that. It's kind of a tripod with the concrete in that corner of the garage. However, if I move it right here into the center, all 4 casters touch without a single problem. So obviously the concrete in the garage isn't perfect, but you know, my work is. So I hope. Anyway, let me know what you think. I hope you like it. Hope you think it turned out well. And thanks for watching. Oh, he's following me. What are you doing? Huh, Tara, what are you doing?